Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Ryan. I'm excited because today we're going to be diving into a brand new bottle. This is from New Holland, and this is the Dragon's Milk Origin distillate that they do, and this is the toasted barrel. But then what they do is kind of interesting, right? They do a toasted barrel finish, and then they do a secondary finish in a second barrel. And the second barrel depends on which batch you get. So they were just released 4, and I waited in line for 2 hours outside of the distillery in the 30-degree cold in Grand Rapids. Well, actually, so they have 2 locations. They did the bottle drop at 2 locations. One's the main distillery in Holland, Michigan, but that's like a half-hour drive for me. So I just did the 15-minute drive instead, and that was at their Knickerbocker location in downtown Grand Rapids. That's where I waited for my bottle, or bottles, I should say. So they did 4 batches. I picked up B and C. So B is what I'm going to be reviewing today. And that is the honey barrel finish. So it's a toasted finish first, and then honey barrel. And then the second bottle I picked up, which is right over here, this is the apple turnover is what they're calling this one, because it's it's the same toasted barrel finish, but then finished again in Applejack, like apple liqueur casks. Pretty interesting stuff. This bottle, I haven't cracked it open yet. This one I'm sharing with some of the Patreon members because we're doing a virtual bottle share, which I'm very pumped for. And that one I'm splitting up into sample vials and sending out to you guys for our virtual bottle share. So that's my contribution to the bottle share. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys are sharing too. I think we got like 12 of us total. So everybody is like sending out samples from one bottle, but then they're receiving 11 samples from everybody else. So you get to try a ton of whiskey. It's gonna be really fun. We're gonna split it up into 2 nights. We'll do our, it's sort of like bottle show and tell. So when your bottle's on deck, we'll all try it together. You'll talk about it, why you like it, why it's special to you, etc. But that's the one that you guys in the bottle share are gonna get to try. The one I'm trying today on the for the review for this particular product is the honey cask finish. So this comes in at 121.6 proof. So it's pretty hot, right? It's got a lot of proof to it. I've already had a little sip of it. I did just like a little shot glass of it just so I could sort of warm myself up to it. And I want the bottle to open up a little bit too. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this poured, and then I'll talk a little bit about this distillate. All right, that's poured. I'm gonna let that sit a second, open up a little bit in the glass. But let me talk about New Holland's distillate. So they've got a handful of different products. I mean, they've got like their Zeppelin blend, which is an American single malt, which I've had several times, really like that. But this here is specifically their Origin distillate. And this is really interesting stuff. It's really unique. So it's a high, they haven't shared the mash bill yet. As far as I know, as far as I'm aware, the exact mash bill for their Origin distillate has not been made public. But we do know that it is a high malted barley bourbon. So high malted barley in the mash bourbon. And last time I had a bottle of just their Origin series, so not finished, just the standard Origin distillate, it took a minute. It took a little while for me to really warm up to the distillate because it is so unique. It is so different. It's really like, I think, leather, burnt chocolate. I know that sounds off-putting, and at first I think it kind of was, but then it kind of grew on me over time. So like leather, burnt chocolates, lots of cinnamon, and then a little bit of even sort of this like, I don't know, like a bran cereal and raisins, like a raisin bran cereal as well. And it took me a little while to acclimate to it. And once I did acclimate to it, I did start to really enjoy that flavor profile. And I know there's a lot of people out there who really love this distillate in particular. I know the Bourbon Junkies, for example, another YouTube channel that reviews whiskey. They're much bigger and more successful than I am. But so you've probably heard of them. The Bourbon Junkies, they say this is the best distillate coming out of Michigan, and they have very high praise for it. I'm not sure that I totally agree with that, but I do think that it's really good stuff. So let's dive into this. I will say their bottling is friggin' spectacular. Like whoever came up with this idea for the bottling needs a raise. Because you just want to buy it just because of the way that it looks. It literally looks like it has dragon scales, and it's got this gradient where it's dark black up here and then clear on the bottom. So you get like this amber kind of a look, like flame inside, like underneath the dragon scales as it's getting ready to like breathe fire out of its neck or something, you know what I'm saying? And it sort of glows that amber red. That's the kind of the vibe you get off these bottles. It's super cool. But here we go. This is the honey toasted finish, batch B. Good grief, man. I mean, say what you will about this distillate, but it is so much. It is jam-packed, full of flavor. Thick and syrupy. I get maple, honey, like thick drips of honey off of a honeycomb. The nose has a really distinct cream soda sort of a vibe too. Yeah, honey and cream soda. Those are like sort of, if I could wrap up the nose into one, quick synopsis, that'd be it. Honey and cream soda. Also some milk chocolates in there. And for it being finished in a toasted barrel and then a honey barrel, I don't get a ton of oak. It's just real subtle. Little subtle oak in there. Sweet, subtle oak. But man, that's like so thick and fruity. I almost think of like a mead. You know what I mean? Like a honey and apple mead. All right, let's try it. Cheers. Woo! Man, that's so dark and rich on the palate. Spicy, peppercorns, lots of leather. And I do get that burnt chocolate note in there too, but I'm also getting like root beer, sarsaparilla. And it's really thick and creamy. It makes me think of like an oatmeal stout beer. You know what I mean? You ever have a good oatmeal stout beer? They're dark, they're rich, they're malty, but they're also creamy and sweet. That's this. The finish is all just light toasted oak, but mostly like the overwhelming majority of that finish is just like fruit and honey. I think of mead. It is solid mead finish. Like if all you gave me was just the finish on this and I had nothing else of it, was just the finish, I might guess that you had given me a mead. Thick, honey, sweet, fruity. Man, what a unique sip. Funny story, as I was waiting in line for this, I'm a part of this Grand Rapids bourbon group on Facebook. We share pictures, we chat, we share like, hey, what store has what, you know what I mean? Like if I go into a store and I see something that's maybe allocated, rare, that I know people are looking for, I'll take a picture of it, post it on the group, and be like, hey, just so you know, this store on this street currently have this stocked. Stuff like that. Great people. And in that group, I've been chatting with a guy, and he had seen pictures of my Redwood Empire bottles I got recently, the small lot series. And he was like, man, I have the Foggy Barrel, but I cannot get a bottle of Devil's Tower. I'd love to try it. I said, well, hey, why don't you, I gave him pictures of everything I had. I said, why don't you pick a few bottles, and I'll bring you some samples, because I'm going to go wait in line for this bottle drop. And I know that in a different post he had said he would too. So I was like, why don't we just meet up after the bottle drop? We'll get our bottles, connect on the app, and then we'll swap some samples. So I picked a few things off of his shelf. He picked a few things off of mine. I got there plenty early. I waited 2 hours in line, and not everybody in line got a bottle, by the way. Some people were upset about it and kind of walked away grumbling. I was like, bro, you've only been here half an hour? I've been here for 2 hours. But anyways, I wait for 2 hours behind this couple, and I had my AirPods in. I was listening to a book because I knew it'd be there a while. And when I got to the front door, I got a message from this guy. He says, hey, I'm right at the front, so I'll probably have my bottle within the next 10 minutes. And then I'll be ready to swap. I was like, dude, I'm at the front right now too. I'm like at the door. He's like, I'm at the door. And then the guy in front of me turns around. He's like, you Ryan? I was like, yes, I've been waiting beside you for 2 hours, and we did not realize that this is the guy I've been chatting with for a couple of weeks. It was silly. We had a good chuckle over it. But anyways, this distillate is not for everyone. And in fact, that very night, that guy had messaged me. He's like, did you crack that bottle open yet? I was like, yeah, I did. He said, I do not like it. He said, I had one sip of it and I do not like it. Now, he is admittedly, he said, only a few months into his bourbon journey. So he's pretty brand new to it. And I said, the origin distillate is very unique. And I told him at first I wasn't crazy about it either, but it did grow on me. So let that be a disclaimer that this is really different. And so go into that purchase knowing that. If you ever buy anything from New Holland that is their origin distillate, just know it's going to be pushing the boundaries a bit. It's really unique. It's nothing that you have had before. It's going to taste like its own beast. But once you acclimate to it, I think it's actually pretty good stuff. Is it the best distillate coming out of Michigan? Man, I think I would reserve that honor for, Traverse City Whiskey Company or Eastern Kill. Those two. Eastern Kill took a little while to come of age. Their younger stuff was not great. They came of age. The distillate they're putting out now, pretty solid stuff. Traverse City Whiskey Company, man, their bourbon, their weeded bourbon, all of it, very good stuff. But I would say this is in the top 3 for sure. Yeah, I'm excited to share that with some of you guys in the Patreon group. See what you think of it. All right, so if I was to give this a rating per my scale, I think it would get a lot of points for being really unique. I mean, the root beer, sarsaparilla, the oatmeal stout, creaminess, but also the sweet and the mead. I mean, it takes you on a full-blown journey, and it pulls no punches. Like, it is jam-packed full of flavor. So I think for creativity, innovation, it's going to get a lot of points in that regard. I think ultimately I would land at I'm going to say a 7.3 for that bottle. It is very peculiar, but not in a bad way for me personally, for my personal palate, but I do recognize that it may not be for everybody. I really like it though. 7.3 from me. I should note these are $90 a pop MSRP. So they're not super cheap either. So there you have it. That is from New Holland Brewing Company. That is Dragon's Milk Origin Toasted Barrel Honey Finish. Yeah. What do you guys think just based off of my notes alone? Does that sound like something you'd be interested in trying sometime? Let me know. Cheers, my friends. Thanks so much for your viewership, for your support. It means the world to me. Big shout out to our Patreon supporters who basically help to fund all the bottles we get to pick up. These were purchased via Patreon money. Thank you so much for your contributions. Helps me keep content flowing on the channel. It means a lot to me. I would highly encourage you to check out the Patreon group. The bottom tier is literally just $1 a month. It gets you access to cool things that we do, puts you into raffles to pick blinds for me on the live streams. We did that just this past week. Gives you access to events that we do, like this virtual bottle share that we're doing right now. If you, even if you're just $1 a month supporter, you can sign up for those things, and that's pretty cool. So definitely check that out. Otherwise, our Discord group is totally free. Encourage you to hop in there, say hello, introduce yourself, whether you're brand new to whiskey or you're a seasoned veteran. We have people from both ends of the spectrum in there. Everybody's super nice, super chill. We just love sharing life together and our thoughts on various bottles, all that stuff. So cheers, my friends. May you live richly and get better with age. And I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.